get you live.
All right. Good afternoon, family. How you doing? We're glad you could join us today. This is Black Watch with Brother Elliott and Brother Mickey Jordan, and we call him Uncle Mick. I was just sending his niece off back to us because she got a couple more months before she finished school and graduate. So, we want to make sure that she stay focused and locked in and get her finish these last couple months off. So his niece would have normally been here, but, she's not here today. So, but sorry, we might be a couple minutes late. We're just kind of sort of talking about, there's a couple things I want to talk about if we can, about business and politics, right? What was I thinking about earlier? No, I'm sorry, y'all. I know you good Sunday all day going to church folk. Then seen this stuff with, what's his name? Marvin Sapp. That's the level of insanity that these people think that they can have with us. Where I'm going to tell you, I'm going to lock the doors and I'm going to force you to empty your pockets if you don't meet my demands. They ain't demand of God. God don't demand that we do that. Right? What God says is if you're called to lead, then you are a servant. If you're, and I think I put it on social media and I said it this way, real servants are called and they serve people. Real leaders are servants and they serve people. They don't serve, they serve their own best interests. They're not a servant and they're not a leader. So you got this guy saying to his congregation, lock the doors, telling the ushers, lock the doors. We're not walking out of here unless we get this level of money. Was it $40,000, $50,000 you said he wanted to?
I think 40. That's
Was it 40?
Yeah, I'm glad you speaking on it too.
Yeah. Ain't no way. No way. And I'm telling you this. Ain't no way I'm going to have a man tell me that I'm not going to leave up out of nowhere when they are all showing you it's about money because that's their real God. So let's really understand this, right? So they have the God that they serve is one of lust and one of greed. And see, y'all, and we watch the televangelists, and you got such and such got a G-20 airplane, and that's a $220 million airplane, and I got to have a bigger one than him because that's going to help me serve God faster. No, it don't. And we sitting here, good afternoon, how you doing? Thank you for joining us again, ma'am. So, and we're sitting here still serving these people who serve a demon of lust. And I'm going to use that term, right? Because if some man tells you or tells me that I'm not going nowhere unless I can produce $40,000, okay. I'm a man. You're not going to tell me I'm going to sit here and you're going to lock the doors and I'm not going to walk out. Because you're going to demand that I give you $40,000. Work with $40,000 for what? And nobody questioned it. Nobody. Hey, thank you very much.
Yeah, Mr. Thomas, thanks, that balloon. She gifted him a membership.
Oh, beautiful. Nobody questioned it. Nobody stopped to pause to ask why he even thought it was okay to talk about saying something like that. And it was okay. And there's been no outrage from the black Christian community about him being out of order. Then we have the numbers last year that said $420 billion were deposited in institutions by black churches. But he want to tell you you're going to get, we have a problem. We have a problem. In the 40s, psychologists come up with this ideology called cognitive dissonance. It's where you become more like your oppressor than you do like yourself, right? And they noticed that during the Holocaust, and when the Germans put the Jews in charge of other Jewish people, they would be worse to the Jewish people as their governors. They would be worse to the Jewish people than the Germans would be. So the Germans were very clear that they were, even if they killed them anyway, at least maybe, I might get a piece of extra bread or a piece of meat or a piece of water, some water or whatever, anything extra from the guard that's put me in charge of my own people. And then when I'm in charge of my own people, I can be very harsh to them. Yes, very messy. I can be very harsh to them. And the harsher I am to my own people, the more that maybe they'll like me, right? Okay. Now, I'm going to go back and give a historical example because we talked about them before. Good afternoon, family. Little Mama, thank you for being here. We talked about them before, right? And in doing a little bit more research, remember we talked about Toussaint Louverture and the Haitian Revolution.
Right.
See, the issue with Toussaint Louverture is he thought he was more French than he was African. And so when he was what they call a Frenchophile, right? So I'm more of them. I could speak French. And Napoleon was smart enough to pick up on that. So they knew he was going to, that's true too. That's true. They knew that he was trying to be more French than he was African. So when he decides to go to France, they locked him up and put him in a prison cell, and he died of starvation in there. That was his downfall. He was deciding to be more French than he was being African. And you are a general, and then Dessalines comes in and says, no, we're going to not do that. We're going to do it this way. And then there were that's when we had total war. There was no negotiation anymore. So that's what happened to Toussaint Louverture. Yeah, because he wanted to be more something else. Yeah. So that was the same thing with this cognitive dissonance, right? Same thing with these Jews, Jewish people that they put in charge of other Jewish people. I'm going to be harder on them. I'm going to work them harder. I'll kill them for you. Because you want to be more German because you thought that was going to save your life. Same thing with Toussaint Louverture. He thought it was going to save it. I'll go to France and negotiate with Napoleon. I'll get him locked up and dead. Dessalines, though, he come in and him and because Dewey Bookman died before him, right? And then Dessalines comes in, we taking heads off. Didn't matter.
He's seen it from the previous two. Yeah. So it was like, no, we're going to do this.
And they also were saying we have to follow the traditions and the customs and the religion and the God type from who we come from. Because if we don't, then you got somebody telling you, you got $40,000 to give me before you walk up out of here. But nobody was trying to be Dessalines. Nobody was trying to be Bookman. Nobody was trying to be, even Toussaint Louverture. I'm a negotiator. Why are you talking? You're not, I promise you nobody's going to ever tell me that I'm coming into a so-called place of worship, and I'm going to go and you're going to make me give you $40,000 before I can walk out. Oh, okay. Well, we'll see how easy you think that's going to happen.
No. It make you, but I didn't. I'm glad you brought that up about that 40,000. Do you think the gig is up now on the church?
No, no, because we have cognitive dissonance. We have cognitive dissonance because we won't even do the work, the study, to see that there's something wrong with that paradigm. All of them that we were given under duress. We won't even go look at. If I'm a missionary, right? And if my missions work is to go over and help people, it's not my job to go change how they live. It's my job to help how they live. And so if you go to wherever you go, if you go out to the bush and you worship, it's not my, well, you should do that because it's not Christian. That's not my job. My job is to go help. If I'm going to help them dig wells so they can have clean drinking water, that's my job. My job is not, but see, that's not the point. That was never the point of missionaries, whether they were Islamic or whether they were Christian. Their job was to go in and not help the people, but destroy the infrastructure and the culture and how they lived. Okay, that's what they did. So they were the first insurgents into breaking Africa up. So from the early 1400s all the way to 1884, you only had a few people to go in and start to play this role. But most of North Africa had been invaded by the ideology of Islam, not the Islam that they've changed to have now, even though I still see some. The last time I was in Senegal, a lot of the stuff that we saw previous to the first time is not there, had not been there, and they're building more mosques, and they're being more Islamicized than they were before.
Eddie.
So that was my son. I'm sorry, you all. Because he got a game in a little while, so I'll get there when I get there. He'll be all right. So I saw more mosques, more things like this, and then when they saw us go talk to the other people that they kind of lived over here, ostracized, they didn't really mess with them. It's because they lived in accordance with nature and the old ways. I don't want to talk to the new way. The new way not getting them. Y'all still struggling. The old way, it was raining, and this was the rainy season. When the rainy season and you're out and everything's hot and dry, and the ground is hard, it takes a long time for the water to the ground to soften to soak the water up, right? Everybody's house flooded, but his. And he didn't have nothing special. As a matter of fact, his living room, we had to walk down into the living area, like 4 or 5 steps down. The water didn't get into his space. Everybody else's house was flooded. And I'm like, what'd you do different than everybody else? And he just smiled. But meanwhile, everybody else's house flooded, and they had to pick stuff up off the floor. And when the rain stopped, everything was soaked. They throwing stuff out, had to go buy new stuff. Meanwhile, he didn't have to do nothing. And I'm not saying there's not power in what you believe, but there's no way a man should tell you that you're not going to leave here today unless you give me $40,000.
But you know what? For so long, the black church been able to get away with that. Because just think about it. How did the pastors look back in the day?
Which ones? Like, how far back are we talking about?
Well, we can go back to, let's just say, the 50s.
Okay, in the 50s, the car that they always had to drive was a Cadillac.
Okay, and how would they be dressed?
Oh, no, they dressed to the nines.
No.
But now, if you get the old country guys from the South, there was 2 issues. Number one, most of them were not educated past a certain level. That was number one. And the other part about that is most of them were sharecroppers.
Oh, right.
Okay? They were sharecroppers. They barely had a reading level, right, where they could really read and understand what they were supposed to read. Didn't mean that they didn't have a spiritual gift, but they had a low reading level. So you're going based off of what it is that you're being told. Then you start all of a sudden you having divinity colleges, and most of them couldn't get in because you never had passed high school. So then what you would do is you come north, right, where you could get work. But then if the people felt their spirit on you, and I'm not saying that they don't have spiritual stuff, and many people do, but you don't have that much spiritual stuff where you sitting around and telling me you're going to give me $40,000. I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there. But that's like even if we talk about Nat Turner.
Right.
He was a preacher, Prophet Nat. But he would have visions. And he had visions of what he was set to do to get them free. So you don't talk about that much, right? This is a Christian religion, a Christian religious man who was like, this system that we're living in, that they're forcing us to live in, is not right. There's something wrong with it. It has to be overthrown. John Brown, who raided on Harper's Ferry in 1859, was a preacher. There's something wrong with this system. It needs to be overthrown.
But don't you think if you getting the word of God, truly getting the word, because even going back to the prophet Nat Turner, go back and go see, remember, the plantation owners was sitting right there.
Absolutely.
By make sure they was going over this Bible.
Right.
Remember, they had to.
There were certain passages that they had to talk about. Right.
And they had to cover. It couldn't be, because remember, what was it? Daddy, what was his name? Daddy something used to be on there. He used to go to the different plantations. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But he was married to a white lady.
Right.
Was it Daddy Divine?
Oh, that's Father Divine.
Not Father Divine, but he was Daddy something.
Yeah.
His name was, he was a black man, bald head.
Yeah.
They used to send him to the plantations, but that was just for him to keep the slaves.
Right.
They wouldn't have rebellious on the plantation.
Right. Yeah.
So, like,
this is kind of the same. This is definitely the same thing.
Yes. So
because how much more are we being asked to study?
Right.
Right. We're gonna go to most of them don't even talk about the New Testament. I mean the Old Testament. Because God was warlike, and then when Jesus was born, it's supposed to be a new covenant. How?
But if you go see what Jesus says, he didn't never say he came to change. He said, I come to uphold the laws of Moses.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To me, it's just like.
But see, we change. This gets changed. Not we. It gets changed because people want to be able to use it to their own advantage. So if you're ignorant of what the Bible says, then I can tell you what I want to, and you have to go through it based upon what I say. People used to get mad at me because just like I got the war chest out there, I would bring a briefcase in and pad and books and 2 or 3 Bibles and other books that was no, bro. And I would take up 2 or 3 chairs or a pew, half a pew, and I'd sit there and I'm like, why you got that? Because I want to make sure he's saying what he's saying is right. It's cool, you can have whatever message you want to have, right? Like as a student, if I know that there are people who have not read this book, right? And this is one of my teachers. It's called Intellectual Warfare by Dr. Jacob Crothers. He is a starting member of an association called ASCAC, which is the Association for the Study of Classical African Civilizations. All right, founded in the late 80s, early 90s. And these brothers studied under Dr. John Henry Clark and all these other. If I have somebody who read this, and we can have a dialogue about what exactly is being said in here. If not, I have to paraphrase it. But I'm still not going to vary far from the message that he's giving. These people varying all the way over there. How in the hell do you need, excuse me, y'all, how the hell do you need a $20 million airplane? How? That's selfish stuff. Kenneth Copeland. And what's the other? Creflo Dollar. And what's the other brother, the smooth-looking guy?
Who you talking about?
He brown skin. Creflo Dollar. Yeah, Creflo Dollar. Why? You got to get now you want a G30 because you want a bigger airplane than Kenneth Copeland. And no, for real? And you're, all of them, filling arenas of people. I remember when Benny Hinn came here. I'm going to get it to somebody said something. Benny Hinn came here 15, 20 years ago, whatever. And it's called the Dordt Federal Event Center now. But back in the day, it was called the IMA. It was full, both arenas. Both arenas was full. And they put speakers outside with big television monitors. Are you serious? You couldn't get nowhere near the place. If I wanted to go to the dollar store, I had to go all the way around and up and around because all of these people out here standing there because we're searching for something and not doing the work in order to find out what we're searching for.
I mean, but that goes back to what you were saying, like awakening. Do you think if you really was being called, because what was Jesus doing? When all these people say they Christians, right? They follower of Jesus. Jesus was a revolutionary.
And he would never call himself Christian.
Right. If you go see, who was he battling with? The government at the time was the Roman Empire that was running. That's what I'm saying. When you go look, that's why
I can people, these clowns don't want to be revolutionaries.
Facts.
Because then what you'll do is then what you're afraid of is if you're going to turn people into revolutionaries, you're afraid that you're going to lose people on the inside of your congregation, inside in them walls. Because if you turn them into something and turn them into reading and research something that is greater and it's more original, You talking about 2,000 years as compared to 10,000 years or 50,000 years or 100,000 years?
Mm-hmm.
That's not even close. I want to know what happened 100,000 years ago and how we were living in balance with nature 100,000 years ago. Not, you can't tell me. The 2-year-old ain't got nothing on the great, 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 great grandmama.
Now you want that root knowledge.
I want the root
You
knowledge.
don't want the branch
So
knowledge.
even if I go out of the country,
Uh-huh.
I don't. Oh, we gonna stay in the city? No, no, no. I want to stay in the village and find the people. I want to stay over here. Oh no. So the second time we went back and I saw my man, I tried to stay over his house all the time.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to him. I don't want to talk to everybody else running to the mosque. I want to talk to him who didn't go to the mosque, who did his prayers. He still did his prayers. He did Juma the way everybody else do, but it was different. If you flooding and everybody's flooding and his house don't flood and there's no barrier there to keep the water out, it's just like here. There's no barrier that stops water from coming in here unless whatever power you got that you use through God in order to stop the water from coming inside this room. I'm telling you what I saw. That was power. Not somebody else telling you that you have no power unless it's through this. And I don't care if people get upset. Go study it.
Yeah, but when you in a dead state, we like,
So
we in a dead state, like they say, you on your lower level. You know what I'm saying?
right.
When you
What we was talking about before.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
you with the lower level, because just as you see in the infrastructure of America crumbling.
Yeah. And it's going to drag everybody down with it unless we decide. Bro. Okay, everybody, and if they don't, and I got to go find it, when they showed American Gods with Orlando Brown,
Oh yeah, that was deep.
that was the most, and then they had to get rid of him because
got him off
they
the
don't,
show.
yeah, because you don't want that message to get out, right?
Yeah.
The same thing, but they talk DEI, and it's that, who cares?
Yeah.
Go study. I don't want, if I can have a talk to a minister, and I got a few friends that are ministers, I challenge them too. You better know.
As you should.
And you better know. And don't just come to me with Bible verse. I know them as well. But you got to go outside of that. Because if it started out in Genesis, and the first 5 books of the Bible started out in ancient Kemet, and they said that Moses was a priest in the temple of On, knowledgeable in all of the wisdom of ancient Egypt, why are we over here? Why are we here?
You know why we.
Of course we are. Of course we do. Yeah. You got 13 people, 12 people that saw the same thing differently, and you got to make that make sense.
Right.
What angle is you watching that?
Yeah.
But you got 50 other books before that, 54 other books. There's 66 books in the Bible.
Yeah.
53 other books that give a whole completely different story.
Right.
They talk about magic. They talk about other stuff that's in there, right? They talk about stuff that people don't want to talk about. Oh, don't believe in that. That's some hoodoo voodoo. So no,
Yeah,
it's
I was
not.
gonna say voodoo.
Yeah. But Haiti used what they knew in order to be free. And the people that they were using and the energy and the spirit that they using looked like them. Did not look like them. The only reason why it's in turmoil now is because they're worshiping something that don't look like them. And plus you got governments that put sanction on them because we was the first one to do who you little black people think y'all supposed to do. No, you got Dominican Republic right next to it. No problem. Because you conform.
Yeah. But how is that? And they're both on the same land.
They on the same day and the same day right next door to each other.
Yeah.
They on the same land.
Yeah. How can one be this one messed up? But you know how you can see that? Go right next door to Grand Blanc.
Yeah.
Leave Flint. Okay,
Right.
let's don't use Grand Blanc. Let's hit parts of Burton. Let's hit parts of Flushing.
Right.
But Flint. So you can see.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
Yeah, you can see the makeup. We just
Yeah.
ain't looking at it on a
No.
broader scale, like why you can wonder why this country messed up. Go just take a map of the United States and see how you got cities in America that look like third world countries.
Go down on Detroit on 8 Mile. Drive the 8 Mile going. Is that 8 Mile? Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Harper. Gratiot and Harper. You take, is it Gratiot going after you get past 8 Mile? After you get past 8 Mile, it completely changes. There's almost like a line where it completely changes from one look to another. You go, if you're going east is horrible looking. If you're going west, you got a whole nother city.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but
Right. But you've been here.
Yeah, these the same people that's even with the wars over there, like how we just go, what was it, Rwanda.
Right.
When Belgium came in, you had the Hutus, the Watusis, I can't think of the third ones, have been
Right.
getting it along for generations.
Yeah.
Generation. I ain't say decade, it's 10 years. I'm saying generation
Right.
over thousands of years.
Right. And then all of a sudden you come in.
And y'all become
But-
arch enemies.
But that's the mindset, because once we go back to the letter, right?
Yeah.
Again, because
Right.
that letter's in the mix. It's always in the mix everywhere. Divide and conquer. Make one group think they better than another group. When that's not even the case. We the same.
Right. That's why I
But
said
it's crazy for you. You weigh 10 pounds more than I do, but somebody gonna tell me I'm better than you, and you better, and we've been knowing each other all our life, and I believe it. I'm a
Right.
fool.
Right, that letter, like you say, that Willie Lynch letter.
Yeah.
They had Negroes argue with me and you. That letter ain't real. How is it not real when we can see it work?
You see it working in your own family.
Yeah.
You see it, if people take a look at themselves and go like, okay, I see a sister and she may be overweight.
Mm-hmm.
What do we say? We don't say, she's still cute or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And then on her side, for her part, she may act all kind of crazy. There's something wrong with that big.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, you know what? Hey, how about we get you some help? Now, she may not want the help, but we don't have to dog her out either, right? And then we give her all kind of names and all kind of monikers and all kind of this and that and the other and all kind of other stuff in order to be able to say we can dog her out and make her feel some sort of way, look some sort of way. Meanwhile, right? So when Lizzo was big, literally, on the scene, and she said, look, that's enough of this because for my own health. And at first it wasn't like that. And then people, well, you shouldn't be body shaming her, this, that. Baby, that's not healthy.
And key word, not healthy.
That's not healthy.
All we had to do is go back to the, what was the big lady name back in the 40s? They'd have her doing this. They'd parade us around. What's the other lady name? They got her body parts.
Sarah Barton.
Sarah Barton. That's why you can see Sarah Barton's on going on right now, but they come under new names.
Yeah.
Beyonce, Sexy Red,
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj, Cardi B.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, if really the pastor really pastoring, and he really pastoring in his Jesus form, you would have way more. Church would bring light to the community.
But see, they're not doing. That's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is make a monument to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's a monument to me. Make a monument to me. I want to do things that's about me. It's not about, anything else.
Yeah. That's why that pastor, Marvin Sapp, locked them door. I'm assuming, allegedly, he said lock the
No, he
doors.
did. He told the usher to lock the doors down, and until we get $40,000, ain't nobody going nowhere.
But see, it's that mind state because they've been looking. Just think about it. I can't think of the pastor name, but I remember my granny used to go to this church, but I remember he was on when 2020 was doing with them fake pastors. Well, he was a white guy. When they had the people like they healed them, they
Benny
couldn't walk.
Hinn.
No, he did another white, but he used to be here. I remember going to see when I was like, out in the country.
Okay.
He was acting like the people, because I remember my cousin played the drums in his band, but he was coming in like he helped people. I can't even think it. I'm going to have to call my auntie and I have
Yeah, please. I
remember he was coming here, and I was like 17, and I remember watching 2020.
He was in Saginaw. I know who you talking about. White hair guy,
Jesse
Duplantis.
And they had, because he came
through here. He come through here,
That's what I'm saying, man. And I remember 2020 did it. But, and like you say, Benny Hinn, Jimmy Swagger. Remember, he got caught down on Whore Alley.
And what did the people do? They forgave him.
No,
you don't. No, I don't care. Because here's the crazy part. If I were to, as a teacher, if I were to go to tell my kids I'm gonna take your test and I'm gonna cheat on it, I would be ostracized and never be able to teach forever. I couldn't go to the Board of Education and say, "Can you forgive me? Because I was just trying to help out." No, you fired, and you can't get another job. But yet we give these clowns back the opportunity to bilk you because we have a lack of belief in anything other than what we've been told.
Facts.
not with what we've ever been read. What we've ever read.
I agree with you.
You know, because after a while, folks was asking me like, bro, you coming in the church? I mean, I needed to.
Yeah.
You know, I was going through a rough time.
Right.
I needed somewhere to go. Run across the street. Why don't you come to church? We're around the corner. No problem. I come over there. But I knew I was coming. I did when I was younger. I wouldn't go to church with just, I'm coming in there with stuff. You better know we coming in there. And if you do what you talking about ain't nowhere. And I get it that you can tell a story, but your interpretation of whatever the verses are, and don't give me one verse. You give me one verse and interpret it 1,000 different ways and put 17 million different stories to it. Yeah. I heard this one dude talking about the chicken crossing the road. Time out. You're not going to sit there talking about that. There's nowhere in the Bible nowhere.
Right.
And I checked him on it right there.
Right.
The people got real quiet. I'm like, where? Where's this at? How does this correlate to whatever you're trying to tell it, what the message is? Just tell the story instead of talking about the chicken crossing the road. Just tell the story and make it make sense. So it's the story that you're telling, the parable that you're trying to get people to understand, makes sense.
Right.
Instead of saying it's in the Bible somewhere, it's not in there.
And can you explain the meaning of it? That's why you need I can't say his name, Sheikh Diop.
Right.
You need a John Henry Clark.
Right.
You need a Chancellor Williams. You need a Ashley Quasi who can go into it, like you say, we can go back to the pyramid.
Right.
And prove if this, you know what I'm saying?
And a lot of the stuff that Baba Asra-Kwesi talk about that we take as gospel is not there.
Right.
So if it's not there, why do we believe it?
Right.
Because we have to believe a fairy tale in order to have this life that we want to have spiritually. That's a fairy tale.
Right. And it's like the Matrix movie.
Yeah. That's it.
Blue pill, red pill.
Red pill. Pick which one, because one going to give you, but you got side effects with either one.
Right.
So why take it?
Right. I mean, well, you want to wake up or you want to stay asleep.
Right.
See, a lot of people, and that's why I feel like going into the because if you go watch any of them, even going to Peace and Blessings of Prophet Muhammad 1,400 years ago, even with them, when you seen how they was coming in, what they was doing, this religion that this is now was not
nothing
back
like
then.
that. No,
because you cannot tell me, show me in the book of Prophet Muhammad 1,400 years ago when he had Shiite Sunnis. Show me, it was just Nation of Islam.
Yeah.
Wasn't no different sets. When you get them different sets in, this when you got the people, they wanted to put their ideology on it.
So then that means you got the Baptists and the Methodists because the very first church here, the very first church was the Methodist church that they turned to the AME because they got kicked out of the white church.
Oh no, you have to tell that. Why you think you got the first black? Just think about that. In America, what's the most segregated day in America?
Wednesdays and Sundays.
Why is that?
Yeah, because we know that, and that's cool.
So what is it?
Because they don't want to be bothered with us, and we don't want to be bothered with them. And it's church. Right?
Yeah, church.
Yeah, you're not having Bible study with them, and they not having Bible study with us because they preaching two different ideologies. They preaching superiority and preaching get along.
Now, what that tell you?
We want to get along.
So that's what I'm saying. That's telling you. So when you get these wise men who have to come and break this down, we had so many people come and telling us it ain't right for what we do.
Dude, we ignored them because you were blasphemy against him, and he was chosen by God. I am too. You are too.
Yeah.
The difference is my message come through study of antiquity, and your message come through being a videographer and a reporter. It's still blessed by God. What make them better than me? I don't know. I ain't never seen not nan one, and yes, I said it that way. Not nan one of them throw their pants up in the air, jump up, and them pants come on magically. They put their pants on the same way you and I do, one leg at a time. I ain't never seen one of them jump up in the air and pull them on all at the same time. Where?
I agree with you.
So what makes them better?
I agree with
you. And then for anybody to sit there and tell you that you gotta, and we got a building fund, and we got this, and we got that. Meanwhile, you're living in squalor. Remember that I told you about the sister was going to church, older sister going to church? A friend of mine told me that story. And she needed some money to help lose her house, or she was going to lose her house, and the church said, pray about it. Meanwhile, she's still giving tithes, and she getting ready to lose her house. She lost her house. She kept giving tithes. What the hell? We wrong. What? That's crazy. That's cognitive dissonance. That's insanity. But the church wouldn't help her. Meanwhile, she had to sell stuff, move into an apartment. They took her house and everything else, and the church. What's the reason? If you're going to be a church in the community, then what your job is to do is make sure the community is better.
And why wouldn't you buy up the block, the church?
For what? Because then if you do that, you want to put your people in it.
Right.
Which is wrong. Because then if you buy up the block, then what I'm going to do is, hey, look, you know what? You need some help getting your yard together? You need some help? What you need help with? And you help the people. Then what do you think them people going to do? I'm going to be right back over here with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it, even if, and people are users, I get that too. Mm-hmm. But you got to leave it, if you believe in God that way, you got to leave it up to them.
Yeah.
Or you cut them off.
But you did your due diligence. I mean, how can you have, oh, we're gonna put the money together this time, Pastor, you're not gonna be able to get that $10,000. We're gonna give it to Sister Mary. She about to lose her house, and she been faithfully coming here. She been faithfully.
Man, and shouldn't that have been on the person who wrote the accountant of the church? Said, man, we're not doing that. She's not gonna lose her house. Yeah. So that's immoral, right? It's the same thing that King was talking about when he came up with the idea after he wrote the letters from Birmingham prison and sent these letters out to all of these pastors. He understood that they were immoral and they weren't going to do anything. Yeah,
it was just, but see, it took him. That's why toward the end when he said, I feel like I integrated my people into a burning house. And
he did. Yeah. But they knew that too.
Yeah.
They knew that too. No, see, it was late. It was too late in the game.
See, he had been, they call razzle dazzle. What it said in the Bible when the devil took Jesus to the mountaintop, so I can give you the wonder. That's them are parables for us.
Well, I got a whole different version of that, but I ain't gonna do it on here.
Facts. But why you think they say there's gonna be spiritual places, high places?
Yeah.
Why is it telling you that?
Right. Because that's where you gotta go.
Yeah.
That you have to go be something different, right? And a lot of times people get upset, confused, whatever, because people that, like most of the time I study by myself. I have a few people I do share with. You know, you busy, but we still share. But we get on the phone. I don't talk to everybody about this stuff.
Oh, you can't?
I can't. Because number one, it's like, well, you think you know everything. I spend my life studying. So yes, I do know a lot of stuff. And there are people that know more than me. And I'm not mad about that. I don't have no issue with like I tell you, I got a brother in Detroit. Y'all think I know stuff. This dude is dynamic. That's my brother. I aspire to be like him. And he's called the official Detroit historian. His name is Jamon Jordan. Bad, dynamic brother. You go to Detroit, find him down there giving a tour. He got classes over at U of M down in Dearborn. The brother's dynamic. I love him. I want to be like him like that one day. But even at my level, there ain't a whole bunch of people at my level. And there are not a whole bunch of people that want to talk about stuff. I mean, study. Every book in the whole, every culture says study to show thyself approved. We not studying. When I would bring my stuff into the church, they would be, man, and folks wouldn't.
But if the church woke you up, do you know what the mind you would go into?
If the church did its job in order for us to be the people that we're supposed to be, you wouldn't have to worry about telling somebody you're not leaving unless you give me $40,000. Because we would control the community. Facts. We would control the community then.
And what did he need that 40 for?
No, the down payment on his G20, I guess. I don't know. I'm just playing with that. I don't know for real. But who knows? Because if you're telling somebody you want $40,000 and you're not controlling the community around your church and you're not having your people be better, you're not having people come in and say, hey, look, we're going to use church in the basement, the space in the basement, in order to tutor. Everybody got to bring their kids in here.
Especially in the neighborhood your church at.
Everybody got to bring their kids in here. You're right. We must. If you don't feed your brain, then it's gonna die. It's like a muscle. It's got to be worked out, just like getting in the gym. But I don't understand why people desire not to study. And if they study, they only study one thing, right? If the only thing that people study is just the book, and there are billions of books in the world, and there are even millions of books on the subject of the book that you study. I got a book from my great grandfather, a Bible from my great grandfather, had gold painted edges, like really gold, real gold, that he had in the 20s or 30s. The information in there, and the scripture in there, is nothing like what's in the newer version of the Bible. My apologies for that, you all. Nothing like it. And the pictures are nothing like it, because everything in there is black. I don't know where you found this at. Every picture of every angel, the God, picture of God, Jesus, all of them, all black. Everybody. Now, I don't know how well he could read, but he knew enough to have something.
Who?
My great-grandfather.
But that goes back to, he might, you know what, and I kind of do, he might have didn't, but a lot of them who didn't know how to read came up here.
Yeah.
And became successful.
Yeah, because there was jobs in the north.
Yeah.
And then there was also something in their spirit.
Right.
That spoke to people.
Just they didn't teach them.
No.
You got to think, at their time they couldn't go to school.
No, right.
See, they didn't want us to read. See, don't nobody never talk about that. It's like they want to erase that part out of American history that, you know what I'm saying, it was a time that a black man would get killed for reading.
A black woman too. Anybody.
Facts. Yeah,
anybody.
you would get killed for this. See, people forget that.
Yeah,
and
because here's with that too. We don't want to revisit the things that happened to us in slavery because they're continuing to happen. Right? Number one, that's spiritual, which means where you go get fed at, if it's not curing you and allowing you to go back and look at your history of your family, you're not getting cured of the things that you may find to be your gods. So if I like to drink, somebody in my family used to like to drink. If I like to smoke or like to eat, if I want to be gluttonous, even though it says this particular book says don't be, and every book does as well. Don't be gluttonous, don't do this, do things in moderation. Every book says that. Every culture says that. Every real culture. But that's not where we live. We don't live in a culture, we live in a culture of overabundance and gluttony and waste. Right? That's where we live. So it's okay for you to have a bare refrigerator, and my refrigerator is full, but yet I won't share a glass of water with you.
I mean, that's where we at now.
But we've been there because we've been listening to other people that tell us it's okay to have this overabundance and this gluttony and all of these other things. So it's okay and doesn't faze us when somebody tells you to lock the doors, nobody leaves until I get $40,000 a day.
Cold-blooded, wasn't it? But that's why I think the gig is up. People see what it is. It's a hustle. That's why when you was looking at them pastors, I mean, it's funny that a lot of times you see, the black movies, they be cracking jokes at the pastors.
Right.
When you saw, I can't think of the one, was it with, what was the name of, anyway, with Friday, remember when the pastor was messing with the lady across the street when Bernie Mac was playing the pastor, remember when Richard Pryor was playing
Car Wash.
Yeah, he was playing the pastor. Yeah. And you see...
No. Well, who knows? He might have. They never showed that part whether he got it or not. Only thing they showed was the part that he even said it. So, but anyway, go ahead, bro.
I'm just looking at it like when you see the pastors, how they be making the movies, and you see how they play around. I can't think of the one when Mike Epps, the other one, what was the lottery ticket? Yeah. When he said, I want the wife, I want the good, what's the name? The money. It's always, and you see the pastor got to live in a big house. He got to have his car.
But the idea is, see, okay, if we try and look at let me address what Miss Luna said real quick. We don't know whether he got it, but just to have the unmitigated gall to ask is a problem. And of course, if there are a lot of women in the church, we know they're gonna give it up because you're in love with the pastor more than you are with your man.
Facts.
And I don't care what nobody say. Your man better not say nothing about the pastor, or he got a fight on his hands. Meanwhile, the man that you sleep with, you won't let him guide you because the pastor has got more power than he does over her.
Hell yeah. Pastor get fed before you get fed.
Man, I remember my father telling a story about that happening one time. And I think, was it at the house? Threw this dude out. He said, ain't no way. And I'm going to say it like my daddy said. So just through my daddy. So I mean, probably, ain't no damn way somebody going to get fed before me and my children in my house. Get the hell out. And it might have been at his mom's house. But anyway, it wasn't about, no, you're not coming in here and they have nothing and you eat, and you eating 5, 6, 7 pieces of chicken on Sunday, we done fried up and whatever, and our kids don't have nothing.
Yeah, but that's how it was. They would, pastor come in, he get fed, he can come in, pastor, you done seen it, we can go through him.
But that's where it makes us look like buffoons.
Facts.
And even though we laugh and joke about it, there's no correction. Right? So what's the point of your deacon board? If you got a deacon board, what's the point of the deacons? The deacons, I don't need you to come and tell me and check on me. I need you to make sure that you in order. It used to be that the deacon board, the pastor used to have to give his sermon to the deacon board for them to make sure that it was straight before he could deliver it.
You know it ain't going like that.
Oh, heck no. Because now the deacon board is servants instead of the ones who provide checks and balances.
Yeah. But if you notice, a lot of checks and balances have been corrupted now.
Yeah, because they getting paid. And I saw that too.
Yeah.
They tried to get my dad into that, and he was like, no, I'm straight.
Yeah.
Because his mama wasn't having it.
Yeah.
That was his check and balance.
Yeah.
Mama's like, no, we not,
Yeah.
we ain't taking nothing up out of here that you're going to go over to do there and give it to them, and then when we don't have, then what?
It was a video on Facebook, on YouTube or Facebook anyway. But it was like the pastor wanted the black man. His wife went and told that he got an increase, and the pastor, they tried to have him in the church, and then he quit.
Yeah.
So they told him he needed to increase more pay.
Get more
I
pay.
couldn't believe his wife went against him for the pastor.
What did I just say?
The pastor.
You got all of these women that'll go to church and sit there and tell her man, her husband, or the man that she with, that he is below the pastor.
Oh, yes.
And you can't bet not say nothing. And if he want what he want, I'm going to make sure he get it, no matter what it is.
Facts. I was watching the video, and it blew my mind. It was like, damn.
Yeah.
And then I ain't going to throw no names out here, but we heard about the pastors
Absolutely.
back in the day that was happening. Like, if they really just told, and don't get me wrong, and there was some good, strong men back in the day, but even they have fell short.
Yeah, only because they chose to.
Right.
The temptation. Yeah. So what?
Yeah.
Turn it down. No, babe, no, feed the feet. Like, if I go somewhere, or somebody come over, or if I cook, the elder people older than me get fed first. And I feed the children, and then I eat last.
Yeah, as it should be.
As it should be. Not no, and I've had people get mad at me. You feed the kids first. No, you don't. You feed the culturally. Because if you're not in the culture, then you're not following what I'm talking about. The elders eat first. Just like the children are close to God, the elders are closer to God too. They got wisdom. I want them to eat. Then I'll feed everybody else.
Right.
Babies after the elders. But people want to feed the children first. No, the children waste. Why are you giving them all of this food and they going to waste it? Y'all know they're going to throw it away. So why are you giving a little kid the same thing you would give a 70-year-old man or 80-year-old man and woman? You giving him the same thing. The kid going to take one bite of the sandwich and then throw it away. No. You get a smaller part because you're smaller. You 5 or 6, you get a smaller part. But the elder's going to get the most. And they'll let us typically know, I don't want that much or whatever.
Right, yeah,
then you
that's
feed
right.
the children.
Right.
But you don't give them a full plate like you would give somebody that's a teenager or 20 or 30-year-old person. What they getting the same amount for?
Right.
Because they're going to waste it. Kids don't want to do nothing but play, run around and play. And then come back, bite off the sandwich, and go back out there. So why are you trying to feed them first? No, they don't ever eat first. Culturally, it's always the elders first. And then I go over there and sit with them because they're going to talk.
Yeah.
And don't let me find out they like something to sip and tip. Oh, we on. There we go. See? That's culture. That's what I'm talking about. That's culture.
No,
Make sure the grandparents eat first, and then the kids eat, and then the adults eat.
Yeah.
But the kids ain't going to get that much. They shouldn't get that much. Because they ain't going to do nothing but throw it away. And then we want to give them, oh, it's okay. No, it's not. No, it's not okay. Give them enough, and if they want some more, they can go back.
Yeah, as it should be. Guys, no, I see exactly what you're saying. Because I was a kid, you'd be messing it off. You'd be sitting there, especially where they came down eating vegetables.
Man, right. If you didn't want to eat them vegetables, now the older people, they going to eat their vegetables. Not we, because I ain't old.
Even with beans.
Yeah.
You didn't want, it was like a lot of them foods that they like back then, I like now.
Yeah. Yeah, you had to grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to grow up and mature. Yeah. But that's cultural. That's culture. And we've lost it because we want to have our little kid to lead them, and our kids are crazy as hell. They ain't leading nothing. You better go sit your little ass down somewhere.
Right.
And wait. That's why you get led.
Yeah.
And then, if you want some more, we go back and give you some more.
Right.
But stop letting kids serve themselves because they ain't going to do nothing but make a mess and get too much, and then they're going to run off and play, and then when the fly is laying in it, they ain't going to want to eat it. No. Order. That's the order of things. And we are out of order.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we're out of order.
Well, how do we get it back in order?
People have to study, man. They have to study to show themselves approved. And they also have to be willing to challenge people that say stuff out of line. Like, it's not only would you not see me back in the church, but I'm getting ready to walk out, and anybody that stop me going to have a problem. Or I'm going to check you right there when you say that. And be okay with being checked with it. If I say something wrong as a teacher, and sometimes I do it perfectly, sometimes I do it because of the way that I think, my kids catch it. What am I going to get mad at them for? And they were right in checking it. But he wrong? See, the issue is we think that people have a calling that's better than somebody else's. You're a videographer. You're a reporter. That's your calling. My calling is an educator. And I also dispense information. It's my calling. It's cultural. It's different. They ain't no better than me.
Right.
They're definitely no better than me. And I don't care how long they've been doing what they're doing. They can't give life-giving, life-saving information that help transform people's lives. They can if they're honest and truthful.
Right.
But most of them not. Telling somebody that they got to give you $40,000 before you leave, that's not life-giving, life-saving information. If you're going to say, we're going to collect $40,000, why? Because we got 8 people in our congregation that we're going to give $5,000 to in order to do a scholarship or whatever, or we're going to help them save their homes. You got $100,000 right here, baby, because that's righteous.
Right.
And it don't matter what the context is. When you tell people that you're not going to leave until we get this money,
that was disrespectful.
That's disrespecting your congregation. But I'm willing to bet the very next Sunday they there. I wouldn't be.
No,
And you ain't getting no money from me. As a matter of fact, I used to get in trouble for trying to take money off the passing plate. All right, man, I'm broke. I got to put gas in the van. I ain't.
No, I feel, you know what, that you said it, I agree with that. But they will be fools to go back.
Yeah, but because if you don't study, you're not approved.
Yeah, because that church, it should wake you up. Anytime you go to church, it should wake you up into the mind of how Jesus was. And the mind
People
what
don't
he was
want
being
that.
studied,
People
what
don't
he
want
was
that.
being told.
Right, people
When you
don't
gonna
want
see
that.
how, because they'll read the Bible, see how Jesus was battling with Rome and them, and going back and forth. And this pastor is sit up here, or walk around and deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They ain't talking about having no lambs and lions and all that other craziness. But yeah, okay. So real quick, family. There's a few books that I would like for people if you want to continue to deepen your knowledge and wisdom and understanding of things. One is Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. This other one is Intellectual Warfare, which I just mentioned a second ago by Dr. Jacob Carruthers. He's also got Institute in Chicago, which is not far from here. Or if you go to Chicago, go and find Jacob Carruthers' place, and there's plenty of people that are of the hopeful, prayerful mindset that show you where the Institute is. And just go places and visit. They ain't talking about, Trump is talking about closing down the museum, Smithsonian Museum of African American History and all this other stuff. We don't have to let him. He can let him do what he wants to. Study. There's plenty of information out here. There's plenty of people that are talking about different things on social media. There's plenty of books that you can order. There's all kinds of stuff. There's plenty of people telling stories that are true stories about who and what we are and who we truly are. Mm. And that 99% of the time, people don't want you to know that. Because if a church is not there to wake you up to a call of action, then what's the point? What's the point of going? Oh, I'm getting spiritually fed. Okay, that's fine. But are you getting spiritually fed so you can spiritually act on changing something that's going to be a benefit for your family and the community around you? Mm. And if not, then why are you going?
You got a point there. But they don't want change. I believe if you really just study, just go read the Bible and see how Jesus was moving around. I mean, if they really understood, they will see if you go back, you will see a revolutionary.
Yeah, he was definitely a revolutionary.
You will go see it, so you can go see it. I understand on some aspect, the little understanding I got. That's why I can understand what J. Edgar Hoover, why he was saying they fear of a black Messiah. Because they seen Marcus Garvey.
Yeah.
They say, what's his name?
Even Elijah Muhammad.
Noble Drew Ali.
Noble Drew Ali.
You know what I'm saying? When we get up to Elijah Muhammad, to Malcolm X, to Martin Luther King, why you think people like that, or you can see, what's my man that killed Medgar Evers?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. These people wasn't took out for nothing.
No, because they were talking about sparking and inspiring people to action. And that's the difference.
We got a minute.
1 minute.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Okay. Well, family, we're going to end it on this. We'll be back Tuesday.
Yeah. Make it Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday I'm good because we don't have to go out of town.
Wednesday.
We'll be back Wednesday. Hey, I might come in here early, too, and come and hang out with y'all in the morning on Wednesday. I ain't got nothing to do. I'm off this week.
Matter of fact, you can come on in Friday, too. Because I think she's going to be off. So come on the phone.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we'll be here a couple days this week, family. Go study. Even if you study to read the Bible, go study. Don't start at the New Testament. Go back to the Old Testament. Start from the beginning, right? Because your Jewish brothers and sisters that read the Torah, they only believe in, well, they ain't your brothers and sisters because they don't believe like you do and don't think like you do because they have a community. They only believe in the first 5 books of the Bible, and everything else they don't believe nothing in. And they call it the Torah or the Talmud. Either one of the two. Go read it.
All right, beautiful people.
All right, family, we thank y'all for joining us today. Pass it around. We'll be back Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll be on
Wednesday. And then I'm going to slide in one morning on them. I'm just going to pop up.
We'll be waiting.
Yeah, I'm going to just pop up. I'm going to let them know I'm at the door. And we'll be here. All right?
Right.
Thank you, family. We appreciate y'all spending time with us today. Enjoy. Go study. Peace.